Hey y'all, back here again with Traveling Cowgirls. I just wanted to give you guys a cool update about Strike, my Mustang. I sent her to the Amish a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago to be exact, and she is doing very well. I kind of feel bad because I really wanted to do that part with her, but it's really muddy here in Ohio, and her arena was just getting so sloppy, and we need to do some more work to it. So I was like kind of stuck, like where I couldn't do what I needed to do with her because the arena was getting nasty, and I couldn't get away from her quickly. Let's put it that way, if I needed to. So I didn't want to do anything stupid. So I have an Amish friend who trains, and he actually is my farrier. So it actually has worked out wonderfully because he's the one going to be shoeing her, and she's going to respect him, and she does tremendously, and he's really good at it, and he has let me come there every day, and I've got to be a part of the whole thing. So every day he works her, I'm there, and I get to watch and come and join. So he's been amazing with that, and I'm very grateful for that because there's not a lot of people that would welcome you to their house like that every day and set a time, and it's literally like 2 minutes from my work. So I literally get off work, go to his house, and we work Strike. And so the cool update is she is riding. She's riding very well. She is so smart. If there's something we're doing and she don't like it, he corrects her in the way that he thinks is suitable for the situation and makes her think that his way is a good idea. And that's how you communicate, just trying to get them to think that they came up with it, and hey, I don't want to do that way anymore, I want to do this way, and it's you persuade them to go your way. But anyways, she is riding very well. He's actually even rode her, like I said, this has only been 2 weeks. He's riding her outside of the arena down, he has a very long driveway. There's other neighbors on his driveway with dogs and spooky things, and she's, she looks at him, kind of backs up a minute, and then he'll push her on through and she'll go through. But I did get to ride her this week. She has a very nice walk. She can really walk on for a quarter type horse. I love that because I like a really fast walking. I ride gaited horses, so I like a really fast moving horse as far as their walk. And we travel a lot of ground all the time. She's very smooth in her walk. Her trot seems to be, she's already trotting when you ask her to. We've taken that part very slow because the Mustang's natural thing is to run if they get scared. But everything she's done bad, I definitely could have handled, which kind of stinks because I was like, I could have did it. But this, I feel like, was God's plan. I've started a lot of young babies, but I've never started a Mustang, and you watch all these videos and you watch all these different ways, and you think there's like a certain way to do it, because they're more skittish and they're a wild animal, and there is for each horse. Each horse is different. Each training process is going to be different because they have a different personality. They have a different mindset, and that was kind of, bothering me. That I'm a checklister, so I feel like you got to do this, you got to do this, and if they're not doing this, then you're not gaining ground. Well, no, you need to go over here and work on this. You know what I mean? So, anywho, we are gaining a lot of ground quickly, and I know there can be some setbacks, and if that's the case, that's okay. But she's going to stay there another 2 weeks, and I'm hoping to take her straight from the training and go camping and get her exposed to that. She's tying pretty well. There's specific things that I've told him I wanted him to work with me, and we have picking up feet, like, just stuff like that to make it really easy for her and her future. But tying is a big deal to me because we camp a lot, and you've got to be able to tie up. And she's figuring that out very quickly. She's broke maybe one halter, but she's doing it. And she's standing in cross ties really well. Pretty much the first time we try anything with her, she has her little moment of, I'm scared. And then after she realizes, oh, I'm safe, she comes out of it, and then she never does it again. So that's been great. Riding her spookiness, I definitely could have handled. She does a quick jerk and stops, which I'm very thankful, because some of them will run right out from underneath of you, and she does not do that at all so far. She's very attentive. I kind of thought maybe we could do barrels on her when I got her, like I was hoping, and that still may be a thing, but I'm telling you right now, she's definitely a cow. Gonna be a cow horse. Watches everything. I mean everything. And like glues to it. When she spots something, she's like on it. She holds her head when she rides, very cowy. And I did some research on the bloodline, and she came out of California, like literally came from Centennial, California. It's a reservation there for wild Mustangs, where they're born on the BLM land. And I think about year, maybe sometimes 2 years, they take them off there and start doctoring and making sure they're ready to get sold after they get so many on the reservation. Well, anyways, her bloodline goes back, it said, to a rancher who was losing his ranch, and he just released all these ranch horses. So, and you can tell by looking at them that they look like a ranch horse, like they act like one. So I'm very excited for that, because we do plan to do some trips back out to Wyoming. We eventually want to go there and have a place there. So I wanted a cow horse, and I didn't want to pay the money for one. I got her for $25. So I definitely, so far, am on the upper end of that deal. When you go to these auctions, you just take your time, and you got to kind of take your time, but you got to move quick too at the same time. You got to just see, like, if they're coming up to you and sniffing around and not acting too stupid, too sketchy, grab that one. That's what I did. And I also went off build. Her build was amazing. And I picked a bay because there's 1,000 bays, and everybody's going to run to the collar. So you have a little bit more time with the bays to really pick out what you want. So, and I like a bay. There's nothing wrong with a bay. You breed her, you breed her to some nice collar, you can get some nice babies, especially if she's a good horse. So that's what I did. And like I said, she's riding right now. He was riding figure eights on her in the arena the other night, Friday night, or actually Thursday night. And then I got to get on her. He was a little nervous because, we've been friends, but he's never really seen me ride. So I'm just telling him, you got all these people saying they could ride. And, I told him a few days ago, I'm like, I'm not trying to sound, arrogant, or I just want you to know where I'm at on my level of riding. Everything she's done, I can handle, because that's all I ride is young horses. Like, I love to take a green broke baby and finish them. It's a passion. I love to hear their curiosity and to see their goals that they achieve and make them good for somebody. I don't want to deal with bronchi. I'm a mom, and I have a son, and I don't want to get hurt. And my son rides with me a lot with these green horses. So I don't want to get him hurt. So like I said, I like to go to the next little level where they're not being bucky or anything. Now, they may pop up a little bit here and there, and crow hop, that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about straight up trying to kill you. No, I don't like to deal with that. I gotta take care of myself as a mother and a wife. And I have a lot of responsibilities, so I don't want to get myself all banged up. You're taking a chance every time you get on a horse. But that's a chance I'm willing to take a little bit. because I just love it. But anywho, Strike, we're proud of you, and she's doing good. And if you could just, continue to say a little prayer for her, and I'm excited to see what God does with her. I feel like her story is amazing anyways. And I'll let you know that real quick before I get off here, in case you are just now following our channel. So the day before the auction in August, I did a little bit of research on the horses, and I told my husband I wanted a bay and I wanted a young bay. I wanted a bay that I could start. I didn't really care if it was gelding or mare, but preferably I like mares, so I was going down that route. Well, all they told us on the paperwork was their freeze brand number, their collar, and how old. They didn't tell you if it was a girl or boy, none of that. So I did some research, and if a horse goes to an auction and they don't get bidded on through the BLM, they get a strike. Well, if they get 3 strikes against them, so if they've gone to 3 sales and they did not get bidded on, they get a U freeze branded on their neck for unwanted, and then that drops the price from $125 for adoption, where you have to keep them a year, and you can't sell them, you just got to keep them, you're adopting. That drops the price once they get the U to $25, and then they're just your horse. You do whatever you want. So I was kind of going down that route because I was a little nervous. Like, what if this don't work out and I need to get this horse some help? I didn't want to be locked down on that, and I don't like to lie at all. So, in any way, shape, or form. So, I wouldn't do anything, unhonorable to that. So, I picked out this horse. It had 13 strikes. It had the most strikes in the whole sale. And I circled it. And I looked at, and me and my husband was laying in bed while I was doing all this research. And I said, babe, this is the one I want. And he's like, why in the world would you want that one? It's like, I don't know. I really feel like this is the one. Like, I want this one. Well, I had a name, like if it was a girl picked out, and I was doing Bible names because I'm like, God, please anoint this horse. So anyways, I go to the sale, get there. My friend she knew there was going to be a roan, and she wanted to adopt it. Or she thought there was going to be a roan. And I went through really quickly, started writing tag numbers down, on they had these little tags on their neck. Tag numbers down, writing them down. And I get to the roan, write it down for her. Jalen found a little buckskin. She wanted a younger horse to start, so she would have more time to get it going and could handle it a little better. She's never got to start one, so she was kind of going for more long term to make it a little easier for her to train. So then I start looking for mine, and I can't find it. The freeze brand numbers are not matching at all. No clue where this one, if it was boy or girl. So I just start looking at bays, and I start watching attitude. And of course, if that 13 strike one was a nut job, I probably wouldn't have picked it, because I know I didn't want to set myself up for failure, because that wouldn't have been good for me to do. I've never done this before with a BLM Mustang. So I start watching build, and I start watching character, personality. And this mare, I just was attracted to her. She just kept coming up to me, let me pet her. She was the outside mare. She was the very boss mare, not scared, guiding, staying on the outer loop of all the horses. And then there was this gelding, and he was doing the same thing. He was very curious and probably a little more friendlier. And I really liked him. And he was a different type of bay. He was the really dark bay, almost a black bay. And he was really pretty, but this one, I was like, okay, I'm getting the mare. I like her. Her build was what I was wanting in a quarter type horse, for ranch stuff to do. So I go back up, buy her, pay my $25, get her packet. It comes with a packet and tells you when they've had their vaccination, and it tells you their freeze brand number. Well, that was the 13 strike horse. I picked her out of 80 horses. That was the one. So I was so excited. I was like, thank you, God. Like, this is meant to be. Thank you, Jesus. And then it's really been a dream, like, since I've had her. Like, it has been smooth sailing. And I am so thankful for that, you know. Like, when something's supposed to be with God, like, it just, he makes it work out. And even if there is going to be trouble in the future, like, he'll still make it work out. And he's making it a testimony because, you know, after I got her and started working her, he's like, in a world that freeze brands you unwanted, you are chosen by him. Like, he handpicks you as a child of God. And, you know, that's just something I'll never forget, and something I've definitely learned through this journey with Strike. So just keep us in your prayers. And it's always been a dream of mine to take, like, I love the Seabiscuit story, to take the little horse that had nothing up for it, nothing going good for it, and then it becomes something phenomenal. So pray that for Strike, even if it's just to help lead people to Jesus. That would be one of the greatest horses in the universe. So her story is phenomenal, and just like I said, keep us in your prayers, and we will keep you updated on Strike. Happy trails, y'all. Four-wheel driving it with the Mustang. Carhella's a little bit loggy today, ain't it?
Yeah.
Just went up a big old hill, don't we, Zach?
Steep one.
She tried to kill me, but we got through it. Some people take their dogs to town. Some people take their Stangs to town. We just decided to take old Strike to town with us everywhere we went today. We had to do a little stop at the tack shop. New day, new learnings. Happy trails, y'all.